Good day, everyone. I'm Sulaiman Habib Adekule, popularly known as OVAS of the Eminent Academy. So, in this YouTube channel, I'll be talking about some basic things in mathematics, and if time permits, in our other videos, we'll be looking at some concept of mathematics and how we can easily learn mathematics precisely. So, today I want to talk about the history of mathematics. How do we have mathematics? So at first, when we talk about mathematics, just like other fields, or let me say other subjects, they have definitions. But mathematics as a subject on its own has ambiguous definition. What I mean by ambiguous definition is that it has different definition. And the reason why is because mathematics is discovered and not invented. That's the point. Mathematics is discovered and not what? Not invented. Unlike other subjects, there are some people that we can say this is the person that actually originated these subjects. But as for mathematics, mathematics have been in existence before any other thing being in existence. How? Generally, we can divide mathematics as some other authors divide mathematics as the science of counting, because that is where they discovered there is something called mathematics. What do I mean by this? In the Babylon, they used to have countings before now. Even let's talk about what is very recent that we can all know, the trade by barter. What happens in trade by barter is that let's say somebody has two tubers of yam, another person has some size or some kungos of rice. Okay, I need rice, you need yam. So I know that this amount of rice will be equivalent to this amount of yam. You say let's exchange this. So the same thing in mathematics, that's how it actually started. They say that we need to join this and this, how many of these, then we now come across how can we now give these things name. So the numbers or the counting of those entities is what brought about mathematics. So there are many historical facts in mathematics. So after then, when they now, okay, the Babylonians started in mathematics, followed by some other Egypt countries, they now work on some other things in mathematics. From there, mathematics now erupted. So mathematics actually erupted from majorly two places. It erupted from Egypt and also from Arabs. So you can see that these Egypt people and these Arab people, they are those that they make more contribution to mathematics. So after those two, we now have the Greeks. The Greeks, that we call the Greek people. And they also make contribution to what? To mathematics. So, but as mathematics is as a whole, anything that we want to do in mathematics cannot go beyond one of these three things. And what are those three things? We have expression, we have equation, and we have inequalities. We have expression, we have equation, and we have what? Inequalities. Now, these three things are the major thing that we can see we are treating in mathematics, in any level of mathematics. Okay, let me say precisely excluding the abstract mathematics. So what we do in abstract math is that we are trying to prove what we are making use of in the concrete part of it. So now, before then, we have these three things. One, another things that we have in mathematics that is very, very crucial for us to know is the differentiation between something that we call unknown and constant. Unknown. In mathematics, even from basic schools, what we only know in mathematics are numbers. From basic schools, we started with counting 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, all those ones. So any of these things are what is known to mathematics. Including the decimal ones, including the fractional ones, all those ones, they are what is known in mathematics. But anything that is different from these numbers will now be classified as what? Unknown. Another name that we can give to it is to call them variable. So anything that is not a number is called an unknown, or is called what? A variable. Now, this variable or this unknown now has two things that is attached to it. Those two things that are attached are the coefficient and the power. The coefficient and the what? And the power. When we say coefficient, what makes a variable to be efficient? And that is the number beside that variable. So as I have 3x here, the variable there is x. So what I have beside the variable, which is 3, is the coefficient of the variable x. So the other one that we have, which is a power, when we talk about power, power is just what you have on top of something. If I say x raised to power 6, so this will be the power. The 6 is the power. So this power of a thing can be attributed to both variable and number. A number can have power, a variable can have power, but a number cannot have what? Cannot have coefficient. So a particular number 1 now have an exception here. So if a variable, if a coefficient or a power is 1, we don't need to put that one. What do I mean by that? If I have 4m, so since the power of this m is 1, if the power is not written, it means it is what? 1. So 4m is similar to having 4m raised to power 1. And if I have y to the power of 4, the coefficient here is 1. So before I go fully into expression and equation and inequality, let me say something about these things that I wrote here that we called number earlier. So this actually their basic name is numerals. Their basic name is what? Is numerals. What do we call a number that we all know today? A number is not visible. A number is just our intuition, a feelings of increment or decrement. Okay, let's say for example now, we have about like 40 people in a particular gathering. We have 40 people in a particular gathering. We now bring someone that has never heard of counting before. Let's say we have a kid that is, let me say, 5-year-old and has never been to any basic school of learning or has never been taught how to count, how to know something is 1, something is 2. You know, such kid, if you bring that kid to this kind of gathering where there are 40 people, so after a while, you go out with that particular kid. When you now go out with that kid, you then ask about 10 or 15 people to leave that gathering. Behind that kid, which the kid does not know. By the time you bring him the kid, after taking away 15 people, there will be a facial expression that, no, these people, there has been a change. So the change in the feelings is that there has been a decrement. So the feelings of increment or decrement is what we call what? What we call number. So what do we now use to represent that feelings? Is what we call what? Numeral. So an example of numeral is the Roman numeral. That is why it is called Roman numeral. That is the symbols used by the Romans to represent number. So these ones that we use now, they are called the what? The Indo-Arabic numeral. The Indo-Arabic, because all these symbols, they are a combination of some symbols gotten from the Hindu and some other symbols gotten from the Arab. So, but we can interchangeably, we can call them numbers, there's no problem. But basically, they are called what? Numerals. So now, so all these numerals that we can also call numbers, they are the only thing that are known. Why any other thing apart from them is called an unknown or a what? Or a variable. So this thing that is an unknown, a variable, we majorly make use of alphabets. Majorly. We make use of what? Alphabets. We can use our alphabets, A, B, C, all those ones. We can use the Greek alphabet just like alpha, beta, gamma, any alphabet like that. So now, so we now see all this. When we now combine both numerals and these variables with some signs. One of those signs that we're talking about are what we call the arithmetic signs. The arithmetic signs, which are the plus, the minus, the multiplication, the division. So when we now combine some these with some these with some these, it can now with some other signs now, it can give us one of these three. So how will we identify if something is a coefficient? If this symbol is same there, equals to symbol, and that symbol is called equality sign. The symbol is called the equality sign. So anything we have in mathematics that has this symbol is then called what? An equation. Why anything that have in mathematics that has one of these four symbols, the less than, greater than, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to, which are all called the inequality signs. Which are all called the what? The inequality signs. So anything I have in mathematics that contains one of these four signs can then be called what? An inequality. Why if we have anything in mathematics that does not have either of this sign nor these signs, then we can now call the thing an expression. So what do you just have as an expression? An expression is just combinations or the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, the division, the computation of variables with numbers, with some of these signs, without talking about left hand side being equal or being related to what? Right hand side. So what do these two have? This equation and these inequalities. We can call them relation. We can also call the two of them relation. Why can we call them relation? Let me just talk about this equation for instance now. If we have something of this nature, 2 plus, I have a box, and I'll say it is equals to 5. Everyone knows that what should be in this block is 3. So what do I mean by these three? I mean there's a relationship between what I have on this side and what I have on this side. And what that relationship is that what I have on this side, which is the left hand side, is the same thing. That's what this sign is talking about. That what I have on this left hand side is the same thing as what I have on the right hand side. It's talking about a relation between the left hand side and the right hand side. But as for inequality, it's telling us the relationship in form of some set of values. If I say x is less than 2, for instance, I mean any kind of number that is smaller than 2. So this is actually also talking about relationship between these numbers here and these two. And that is what we have about expression, equation, and inequality. So in our next video, we'll be looking at the types of this and how can we solve each of them. So thank you very much.